you are a catalyst for people like myself to actually feel okay in the art spaces.
Every link that I've made in the industry came from a friend. So I'm fortunate to have been passed through a credible source. So for me, I knew that I was meeting good people based on who I was introduced to them through. I met people in the industry that were friends of friends that I had a lot of trust in and had a good standing with. Messages reach you differently when it's told to you in the way that you understand. Sometimes the point gets across to you better when it's being told to you in the language that you speak on a daily basis. You're speaking to a class of children that come from different backgrounds. It's not going to work necessarily if you're only talking to them in a language that comes out of a textbook. So with my music, I also had to adopt that way necessarily, which is why you look at me and you say, yeah, you have a big role to play and you've taken on this historic role. I had to educate them, yes, but I also had to educate them in a everyday slang that they could digest easier than if I was standing and saying it in a more formal manner.
YoungstaCPT is the biggest artist to come out of Cape Town, South Africa. He is a multi-award-winning musician, entrepreneur and leader in storytelling. Throughout his over a decade and a half career, he's brought massive light to Cape Town linguistics, history and rememory with his signature and critically acclaimed storytelling style. He's released over 30 projects as well as his massive album 3T, which won the 2019 South African Hip Hop Album of the Year. He has established various businesses, has appeared on Netflix's Blood and Water, and beyond all achievement, he remained outspoken on issues of inequality in his community and broader South Africa. For a look into the mindset of YoungstaCPT, please watch. I know I told you about a time we met 2 months ago, but
Yes.
the actual first time I met you was in 2019.
Okay.
And it was at a Meek Mill show.
Oh.
And so at the time, I was like doing music as well. I think in that time, what I wanted most was just to be creative. And at that workshop, it was you, Ricky Rick, and 2 other cats.
It was Zaid Osman.
Was it Zaid Osman?
And it was the creator of Luxurama.
Interestingly, Zaid is also
Zaid is
one of
also
our
out
guests
there.
on the show.
Oh, is he going to be? Oh, okay,
Fantastic.
lovely.
So in that, I remember sitting at the back and you said, like everyone was kind of giving advice on how to thrive, but your advice was essentially deeply rooted in being authentic. And you pointed out you were wearing
The
grasshoppers. I remember
correct.
this like clear as day.
Correct.
That day. You pointed out that you were wearing grasshoppers and that you're bringing it to this stage and you are speaking the way you speak. I guess speaking about where you are from, but also representing it in whether it's just your language, your attire, your stylistics, your stories. Because that's you.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask you, like, taking you back to like when you started out, what is it that basically made you realize that authenticism is the key to success?
I can't necessarily say that I immediately knew I was supposed to be authentic, but I knew that certain things were specific to me and my upbringing and my story. I wasn't from Brooklyn. I wasn't from, the East Coast, West Coast. So it was something that I had to kind of accept at some point, even though I grew up listening to that music and idolized those artists and obviously was influenced by them, as all of us are, because, hip-hop is an American culture. So it was something that I kind of had to have a sit down with myself almost and be like, you can't do that as much as you want to, There were certain things, as I said, that was specific to me. My name is Riyadh. But if I say it in an American accent, like Riyadh, it doesn't sound that cool in a song format, when you're doing a verse. And I live in Witterboomer. It doesn't sound that cool when you say Witterboomer. It doesn't roll off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? So there were certain things that I knew I had to kind of like come to terms with as far as the originality was concerned. But I looked up so heavily to these American artists because I believe our childhood years, that's what we saw on TV. That's what we heard on the radio. It was Western media, Western culture, whether it was fashion, whether it was movies, film, and music as well.
Access was a lot less.
Way more.
Sure.
So that was a direct a charge for me, kind of, and keep me motivated and inspired and so forth. So I couldn't really I couldn't really come to terms with that fact that I had to be myself for a long time. And then I ran away from it because I thought in order to gain acceptance in music or in society, as far as like the entertainment industry is concerned, I have to sound like this. I have to be like this. I have to wear this, kind of outfit or whatever the case may be. But luckily, I had a mother that was very much, you can say, like an advocate for being original in her life as well. So
authenticity.
Yeah. So she gave me a lot of pointers over my years and stuff like that, and to always kind of insert my ideas into something if I were to, you can say, adopt it. So if I took something that was already in existence, she would always say, make sure you leave a part of yourself on it or in it, because that makes it different.
Yeah, she seems to ground you in
Yeah, whenever I get too big-headed,
interestingly, so I'm doing some studies right now, and someone pointed out to me, like, you get all this reading, and he told me there's an AI that he's using right now that speaks like Afrikaans to him, reads the notes to him.
That's about time.
And he was like, nah, like afterwards I understand things much better. Like, similar to what you just said.
To the
like
music,
you say, like, if you say Witteboemer in the way you say it, it's also gonna land on.
There we
like,
go.
And I also I think that's like, for me, when it started landing so well for me. Like I had heard of you prior to then, and I'm gonna bring up this story. The first time I had heard of YoungstaCPT was a competition on Facebook. So it was like, vote for YoungstaCPT to open for Lil Wayne. I remember it was 9th December 2011. I'll never forget that date. Couldn't be there. It was like my matric ball or something on the day. But like, and it was rare to see like people hey, we can be rappers.
Yeah. Yes. That was a standout.
But like, and I read somewhere that prior to then, you'd already done 12 projects.
Yeah. At that point, it was 2011. Because remember, I started 2010. And by 2012, I had 24 mixtapes, meaning one mixtape every month for 2 years. So I always am able to kind of capture my years based on when I released certain things. So for the 2 years that I started from 2010 to 2012, I basically had 24 projects out. And whoever met me in those years, I trace it back to whatever project was out at the time they met me. So I know exactly when I met guys like the Liz and AKA and Toomey, because I know what project they met me at, so to say.
Which project do you say is the one where that authentic shift took place? Because like from the SoundCloud.
Yeah. Your SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, and then YouTube started to, pop off a little bit. But more obviously for videos and visuals. And I mean, in those years, we were recording off the phone. We had a little handy cam, also a digital camera. So I just upload those kinds of things on YouTube. I think some people might remember this freestyle called the KC Rooftop Freestyle. Me standing in the parking lot by Kenilworth Center, just doing a random freestyle with friends of mine. So I think all those kinds of things.
How did that spread? Like, it's just like, mix it.
And Facebook. To be honest, I was probably the first rapper in that generation to use the internet and physical copies. So at the same time, I was making CDs, which a lot of people might also remember. I used to do
both eras.
Like tossing CDs out into the crowd at shows I was doing. I'm hustling CDs in Claremont Main Road and Long Street also. And also remember, it was 2010 World Cup. So there was a lot
so
of
everyone-
buzz, there was a lot of hype, a lot of people
Yeah.
outside. So I kind of used that also to my advantage to spread the name.
Yeah,
Um,
that's on-foot marketing.
yeah,
back
yeah,
there,
you know,
right?
direct to consumer. Bro. I was very much
What-
equipped for that.
How did you become like? I mean, like, surely you had to like get up and go take the train or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
get a lift or something to get there.
Of course. Use public transport most of my life.
Who put that in your gut?
As I said, my
You said,
mother.
like,
You know,
your
when
mother.
you watch your parent raise you, I developed a newfound respect for her also because of, once again, rap music. If you actually listen to hip hop at its core, you find out that there's a lot of social commentary.
For sure.
You know, there's a lot of internal, you can say, expression that's going on with these
sure.
rappers. They also come from disadvantaged backgrounds, similar to what we live in here in Cape Town. So maybe that's why it was so relatable in that sense of
And
me.
it's a language developer for
Yeah.
talking about struggle.
So growing up, you're listening to this music and then you're also making a comparison. You're looking at what's happening outside, you're looking at your environment, you're looking at your circumstance, and you're comparing it to the song. Oh, this is what I did. Yeah, you understand? So that's why I said it was so influential for me, the American music, because it almost mirrored what we were doing and what we were going through, yeah.
I think if I look at To Live and Die in CA,
Yes.
you did a direct comparison between
Yes.
Compton,
Los Angeles, yeah, CA,
CA,
California.
Cape Town.
There we go.
I mean, obviously the two are massively different, but they
100%.
have their similarities. I just want to take a second to get back to that agency section, but to make that comparison between the two, what do you think is, I guess, the holdback for us to be in that I guess position?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the West Coast, American West Coast rappers, like they are. I can't like name 1,000. You can name 1,000, like,
100%.
off top, but.
Well,
I mean, we took a while to get to this point. Like,
yes, we did, and we're still getting there.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Every day, new ground is being broken by the new artists. I don't always like to dwell too much on the sad side of the story of South Africa, but if you look at it, I mean, we became a democratic republic in 1994. That's kind of your answer, And if you look at what was happening before that, in the 80s and the 70s, then you look at your parents and understand what they've been through, the trauma that they are still living with,
It's crazy that we can like look at each other and just
exactly
like,
what I'm talking
yeah.
about. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
We were your parents before. Like,
yes.
I mean,
so we like first generation. And not even really, because we're born kind of like on the cusp of it ending.
I'm 1993 at probably, I think we're probably about a year or two apart.
I'm 91.
91, 2 years apart.
Yeah.
There's...
I know.
I
know, bro.
I don't know, like I always think like, because I spent some time at the Simonstown Museum.
Yes.
My father was initially from that side, and
nice.
It's like it's hard to see those images and realize that there's a whole different life here.
And that's why I said I don't like to dwell on it, because it becomes kind of like a
you-
buzzkill.
as soon as you dwell, I was like,
the
okay,
mood changes. The room becomes very somber, and that's why I don't do it anymore, really, because I don't want to kind of kill the atmosphere, man. But you asked the question, and that's
I
the
mean,
answer.
like, it's tough that like people also look to you for that time.
They do, and it's my own fault. I placed that, kind of duty on myself. So this is what comes with this is the burden.
I mean, it does make you a trusted voice, though.
Yeah.
And I actually want to jump back into when you were handing out CDs and like, especially during World Cup time, your circle at the time, like you spoke about your mother. Do you think there were particular like friends, and it doesn't need to be like deep connections that you made, just people you met casually on the side that, like I spoke about seeing you just speak at the workshop. It was an indirect connection, but it still had an impact. Were there any indirect connections like that for you that just got you like running?
The thing that I'm very proud of is that every link that I've made in the industry in the early years came from a friend that I either grew up with or was on school with. So I'm fortunate to have been passed through a credible source. You know what I mean? It's like if you meet a friend of a friend and then that friend becomes your friend, it could have only been possible because of the first chain, in the link. So for me, I knew that I was meeting good people based on who I was introduced to them through. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my my saving grace. Also, I met people in the industry, or that started working in the industry, that were friends of friends that I had a lot of trust in and had a good standing with. So kind of like being recommended to me via this guy, I almost valued it more because, okay, he wouldn't steer me wrong. He wouldn't send me to somebody that would, double cross me or be bad for business.
So like your deepest connections leading you to...
Yes. They sent me on the next journey of my life, basically.
Like that's with this project especially, that's what we believe. Like the key to entrepreneurship in reality is using those deep connections to foster trust.
Yeah.
And to lead to those indirect ones.
Yes.
That get you to...
I mean, Roscoe introduced me to Muffin Man.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And when you see my manager coming here, Jerry, I met Jerry at Muffin Man's house.
Gee.
And Roscoe knew Jerry as well. And now you see Jerry here with me, we almost like 15 years later. I didn't go to school with Muffin Man and Jerry, but I met him through Roscoe, who I was at school with, you understand? So as I said, it's very important for me to also get the introduction from somebody that I trust, which will make me kind of take it more serious also, meeting you through that person.
And I think that also means that there's a basis of character before getting to that point of trust.
Yes.
Like we talk about Roscoe, but again, like Roscoe's character is one of trust and quality. So we can immediately, like, the connections that's going to come from that. I think that's also like, I guess, a lesson to everyone that your character filters through to your success.
There we go.
That's incredible, actually. I had no idea.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, I mean, I would have done what I was going to do regardless, but it might have taken me longer.
Do you think that, I guess, it's vital to, like, you still connected to Roscoe, and like I saw him in the Slim Young music video.
He's in a couple of my videos actually. If you watch all the way back to the early videos, he's there.
He's there.
Yeah.
I saw Mr. Holland there as well.
Yes,
Mr. Holland is also connected to Simunye.
Nice.
What type of impact did he have on you? Or was there
You talking about Mr. Holland now?
Mr. Holland or any teacher in that
well,
space?
Mr. Holland wasn't our principal at the time. He was a geography teacher. Very firm, and also spoke the language we understood, to put it that way. So messages reach you differently, as you said about my music, when it's told to you in the way that you kind of understand words. And sometimes the point gets across to you better when it's being told to you in the language that you speak on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I kind of applied that same method in rap. So with teaching, I guess it's a similar skill that one must have. You speak into a class of children that come from different backgrounds, that deal with different issues on a daily basis, but more or less they all come from some sort of a struggle, if you look at it like that, And in order to reach them, it's not going to work necessarily if you're only talking to them in, a language that comes out of a textbook, because they don't live that reality.
Yeah.
The reality is not textbook black and white, It's very, very mixed. It's very, very unpredictable. So with my music, I also had to adopt that way necessarily, which is why you look at me and you say, you have a big role to play and you've taken on this historic role as well, where you're educating people about stuff. I had to educate them, yes, but I also had to educate them in kind of like an everyday slang that they could digest easier than if I was standing and saying it in a more formal manner. They might have lost interest, or in an American accent, they might have lost interest for the rest of the days. Even though it still works now in today's time, you do get rappers that do more of the Western style, and they are from South Africa, but it still gets
I mean, you are in various
attraction.
styles, like
various styles, mate. I even took the UK accent at one point just to play with that because I saw people were, also adopting that
Like just jumping there.
that version. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I can also do that. But this goes to show the influence of the first world on the third world, if you want to call it that. So I was very clued up to that, and I knew I had to also play on those themes because for some reason our people have this fascination, and I'm one of them. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm guilty of the same thing because, as I said, when I was growing up, that was all I was exposed to.
For sure.
So that was all I thought you had to be. I didn't know you could just rap the same way that you talk.
Yeah, like I'm guilty as well. Like if someone's gonna come to me and be like, your favorite album, and I'm off the top or like your top 5 or whatever, you're gonna be like,
chances was not gonna be a South African album.
Yeah, not anymore, but for a long time it was like that. It's but I fully understand what you mean. It's difficult.
And like you said, it's based on exposure.
We're flooded by that.
We are overbeared with that kind of content, and it's been happening way, way longer than this period of time where you're getting the YoungstaCPTs and the AKAs and all that. That music only really started picking up in the 20s, 2010s onwards.
But don't you think that maybe has an impact on not just the way we speak, but if you're consuming that all the time, and this is my personal view, is like it gears your thinking as well. So this
100%.
It's like a hyperfixation on tea.
100%. Bro.
Sometimes it's frustrating. I don't know.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming because you know that almost you can't compete on that level. It's almost impossible to do, which is why I said I had to come to terms with myself and say, look here, I know that this is, your passion and what you want to do. But if you're going to do it longer than this short period you've been doing it, you're going to have to be brave. You're going to have to bear yourself now. Tell everybody who you are.
Well, that's a difficult space. I mean, you in music, it's essentially like you've made yourself your product.
Yes.
Like people can... Hello, Peter. You as a person.
And that's why the Normies video, the Norman Inchwood video is an important one. It stands out, the Slim Young one, because now this is me showing you now the school I went to. I'm telling you the kind of like loose facts about me
and
in school. I had the snack witch. Writing my name on the walls. I speak about the teachers that taught me, Miss Daniels and so forth. So for me, it's like a very personal song that only I could have really made and tapped into that, because that's my history, and someone else has their own history, and then they must tell their own story through song or through film or whatever the case may be.
But I mean, your story is, and it's the regular that I don't think anyone can do youngster music other than youngster, because I'm going to give you an example. I watched the Yati video again. Came out about 2019, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Bad math. That I think it's Sussex Road you're walking through at the beginning in Wynberg.
Mars Road.
The
whole video is Mars Road, and then I come to Sussex to Bats Road.
Okay.
Where the park is,
Okay, so down the road from...
Yes. Mars Road is a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So it's one street which was clever for us to shoot in, because we knew there weren't going to be that many cars because it's a cul-de-sac road. So not many cars would drive all the way through.
I know there's a cul-de-sac at Flora. But so in my head, I'm like, oh, no.
So where the mosque is now, that was the end of the road, basically. So no cars would drive straight. They would always take the following roads, or they would go straight down Park Road, and when they get to Bats Road, then they do the right lefts.
That video is nuts, though. Like
one take.
And
I think we shot it 5 times, and we kept take number 3. The third time, you see, episode 3, third time, 3T. That's why I told you, third time is my number.
I think we're going to add that to the time.
Third time's
episode
a charm.
3T.
Episode 3T. Things take time.
Like, that video, you go from yourself to, like, the kids start following you. There's adults that start following people. The streets start following you. The taxi guy starts following
ninjas,
you. Everybody is.
Yeah. I try to make it a bit theatrical.
No, it's telling the whole story of Wynberg as it comes. Like Wynberg is this. this place that has all kinds of people of success. And I actually, the reason I'm bringing up that Yati video is like this place, Weinberg, in itself. Like the other day, I was speaking to this boy is ranked in the top 100 featherweight boxers in the world.
Maybe.
He's from Weinberg. I like growing up Luxurama.
Hey, legendary.
All the time.
They had all the shows out there in those years, yeah.
Like
the
food
Jag
in
shows,
Weinberg, Jag show. What is it about?
David
Weinberg?
Kramer, Tally Peterson. In the old years, they had Tom Jones out there.
There's actually a documentary they're working on.
Yes, there's a documentary. I mean it.
Is
I mean, how could I not be in it? How could I not be in it, my man?
I mean, like I feel like I just broke that news.
Yeah, no, it's fine, bro.
Thank you, though.
I mean,
That's
I've popularized the place so much also in my own right,
Yeah,
you know, because I was kind of rapping in the years when it started to kind of decline. The building itself I'm talking about, yeah.
Okay.
So I was also putting it in my music videos constantly, doing photo shoots. I'd always go take pictures in front of the Luxurama because I knew the significance of the building, you know.
I think I should probably explain, maybe you can explain what the Luxurama was.
So in my years,
Town,
in the 90s years when we moved there, the Luxurama was a cinema. It was most known for being a cinema, a movie theater. And then also they would do the live productions, live shows, similar to what the Baxter Theater is and the Artscape Theater is. So that would be the equivalent of the Luxurama, but it was, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first one for people of color. In the 30s and 40s it was established or something like that. And all our families, our relatives, and
like that.
They traveled from wherever they were from just to go to the Luxurama because that's where they were allowed to watch a live shows, to consume art. Correct.
In that time, it's like.
And how ironic that I grew up across the road. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh wow, that's like you are. Is it something that fit into you?
100%. 100%. Not to go too long in the story, otherwise we need a separate segment just based on the Luxurama. But seeing that kind of a thrill for people, you know, pulling up, going to the show, getting their outfits ready, getting their tickets ready, and so forth. Like you see the excitement, and you like, I wonder what's going on. I wonder who's here tonight. You know what I mean? And my old road sometimes would be parked full, you know, and Parker Road also.
I feel like something that's not discussed enough is that
there's a lot of gems in our culture that's not discussed at all. It's sad. And it's tough for me to capture because I'm only one person. So I'm grateful that there's a new crop of rappers emerging because I'm hoping that they also gonna figure this out and then look around in their communities and find out what stories need to be told and what narrations need to be given. You know,
that's it's a lot of pressure for them. But I mean, it's also, you had that same pressure.
There we go. You know, and those before me had the same pressure as well. So it's literally a ladder that you climb and kind of a torch that's passed down to you. Now, whether you want it or not, you will realize the responsibility on your own, because if you've lived long enough to gain consciousness, you would have figured out that the people around you are kind of being still oppressed, maybe not physically, but mentally, most definitely. So you almost want to liberate them in some way. You will feel that sense, and you can see it in the new music, even though Afrikaans rap it's coming out now. People can criticize it all they want, but at the same time, this is a documentation of what's going on and what the environment and the climate has become.
Even where the language stands.
Where the language comes. This is all part of the fibers that were created generations ago, and now, as they say, the chickens are coming home to roost.
I think a lot of the time, like, I actually read this in a book written by 50 Cent. Actually, he was like, why? Oh, and it's also NWA said something about this. It's why is it an issue if we discuss our circumstance? Why is it more of an issue for us to discuss our circumstance in a public forum than the fact that we actually live in it?
Exactly. It makes no sense. If the world was perfect, I'd rap about it.
Fair enough.
That's it. If the world was the place that sometimes we wish it to be, then that's what the songs would sound like. And that's also why I say I don't like to dwell too much on the negative story of South Africa. So I give the duality of it,
And I think it's important to discuss it, because for the student who sees this, they have an understanding that the circumstances are acknowledged.
Yes.
And
it's not their fault.
It's not your fault. But there are also like examples out there of people who, and it's not the expectation on each person, but we all need models.
Yes.
We all need models to, I guess, just give us a look into that direction we want to go. It doesn't, even if it's like you want to go into welding, plumbing, woodwork, engineering, teaching. I think like initially, like in my pre-project management like life, I was also a teacher, and but my parents were teachers, so that's what I knew. It made me comfortable to get in that space. So what, you are a model for music, but also speaking on culture, and it's tough when we dwell on it, but like
it's the reality, man.
Can commend you on like
we can't overlook it also, not forever.
So I want to jump into a social capital space, but I think like just speaking on what we just spoke about, like I sometimes feel, and this is also part of the project, like placing people in places where they feel out of place. Like Cape Town is the most unequal city in the world, but
one of the many.
Like I guess placing people in, like if I go to the 12 Apostles for the first time, or like a very fancy hotel, I used to feel like I can't exist without, like, am I holding this fork right? Like, am I using it? Do you ever feel like that?
All the time. All the time. Music has given me confidence also. Bear that in mind. It's important when kids are in school at the young age, the critical ages, to upskill them. So you get them into sports. Most of the time, that's obviously what school offers. Let's take it back to our time. It was more sport based, a physical activity, PE, etc., etc. So when you excel in those things and you get rewarded, it's actually like a validation for you that you're good at something. You feel like, oh, people cheer when I run fast, so let me continue running. People cheer when I score a goal, I want to play soccer. People cheer when I swim and come first, I want to be a swimmer. It's almost the first place that you find something that you are good at is going to be at school. Sometimes before, I'm talking about now, if you're lucky, before primary school, you already have it figured out. But most of the time, that's where you're going to get your medals and your awards and certificates. And this kind of, it might set you up for
sure.
your career in life, so to say.
And I'm glad we shifting from like going to, at school we always got the follow your dreams and your dreams will follow you, like something in that space. But I think with the amount of information kids have these days, we can, like, they need the reality information that we're giving them.
It would help them a great deal. It really would.
Can I talk to you about a song? It's called Ballad for Shaki.
A Ballad for Shaki.
You spoke about survivor's guilt in the first verse.
Oh man, survivor's remorse.
So, like, as you develop that confidence,
yes,
do you feel like those two feelings ever clash? Do you feel like, I guess, where does it sit with you these days?
I'm older. I'm lucky to have lived and aged. I think that's a flex on its own. People have this whole live fast, die young thing, and that's also, I guess, cool. It's rock and roll if you want to look at it like that. But I also enjoy the wisdom that I've managed to gain.
Yeah.
It separates me from my counterparts, and I was wise beyond my years, but it also is not something that I was conscious of until I started making music. So as I said, the music gave me confidence. It gave me a voice. It made me feel like I had something to offer finally, because I didn't have that years of cheering and medals and awards. So it only came much later in my life, I would say. But once I got to that point and realized, oh, this was actually something I was good at all along, because I was one of the kids that realized I had something before I went to school already. You understand?
Was there a particular age that you...
6.
What mixtape came out at?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, what mixtape could that have been? No, seriously, you're right. Because in my mind, look, I have to give credit to Lil Bow Wow.
Unsung hero.
He didn't make me want to rap, but he showed me that this was possible. It wasn't going to happen here. I came to terms with that because I was already older. At that time, I was so Bow Wow came out 2001 or 2000.
Yeah.
Around there with Beware of the Dog. Yeah. What's my name? And seeing that as a child, I knew, oh, okay. So you can do this. This is a thing, all his antics aside now, like we just look at the artist and
I mean, he was about, how old was he at the time?
11. 10 or 11, but he'd been rapping since the age of 8. Apparently he was with Snoop Dogg, and he was discovered by Death Row.
I thought he was like Snoop Dogg's nephew, but...
We all did, but Snoop called everybody nephew. That's why we've been confused over the years, actually. But this was the imagery that I was being shown, and in my mind I was like, maybe I should do this, And once again, I credit my mother because she was in the fashion industry, and in those years, being a model meant you actually did ramp, catwalk fashion shows, And you remember high school days, all the fashion shows we used to have. So it was a big thing, and my mother did that in the early years, the late 80s, early 90s. So being that I used to see her on stage, I'd sit in the audience, I'd go to the rehearsals, I'd be there for the dry runs, sound checks, stuff like that. So seeing that that's your mommy on stage, and then when she comes down the ramp, people clap and cheer, and I'm sitting in the crowd and I'm like, she didn't give me hiding at home.
How valuable would you say?
You know what I mean? Yeah, no. So that plays an integral part in this whole story, because it does give me the indication that there is other life out there that's not necessarily found in a classroom or in a textbook that I can't study for. But if I have it, then I can harness it.
So interestingly, like we wrote a book. Last year I wrote a book.
And don't forget Ballad for Shark.
Ballad for Shark. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget Ballad for Shark. I know sometimes I do this. I apologize. Sometimes I do this. I flip-flop. I can bounce around,
But like that exposure your mom gave you, it's one of the key learnings from the first time we did the Simunye project was this concept called metaplasticity. Crazy word.
Educate me.
But essentially what it means is the person who touches on, so say it's my first time working on wood. The next time I'm in a space where there's wood involved, the way I'm going to go about anything is going to change. If it's the first time I've worked with cement, it's the feelings in my hand changed. It's the first time I'm seeing someone do music. I mean, like I got into music because I saw, we can do this. Like you have a mic, call it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's key actually. That exposure. How key do you think exposure is to getting you to? Anywhere?
Well, I mean, earlier on you mentioned Hilde Hood as well.
Yeah,
and Emil, so shout out to them also. Black Noise. To my understanding, they are also like one of the first bricklayers and pioneers in the foundation phase of South African hip hop. Early 70s and the start of the 80s, I believe that they also adopt the culture very early and also add in the African elements to it. You know what I mean? when you speak to Emil also, he is a qualified teacher, you know.
That's why I saw him at that event.
That's why you saw him at that event. And I think he's written about, I don't know how many books. I don't want to give a number and
I saw
it's
him
wrong.
at a book fair, at a school book fair.
This is why you saw him at the school book fair. He has a couple of books out, and albums obviously as well. And if you look at it, I would say like he's the original teacher of hip hop. He's a hip hop teacher. He's a hip hop activist, a hip hop scholar.
I mean, heel the hood goes to.
Hey, my man, they came to our school. It was my primary school, the high school. I mean, I've seen them all the years. They teach you the 6 steps of being a b-boy.
Yeah,
it's all
even that production. They do production now.
Yes.
They do.
And hip hop in Daba. Let's not forget our childhood. You know,
and that's like all schools also coming together. You meeting other people
that's the youth, my
into
man.
hip hop.
That was the first time something of that nature took place, and it was so well attended also. You know, so once again, just a salute to Emil and the whole Hildewood organization. His brother, everybody that's involved for putting that together, and then Black Noise as well as a crew. You know, when I started out in the 2010 years. Dancing was very popular. I'm sure we can all attest that You Got Served. Yeah, Jam Alley, no doubt. But I think we can all attest when You Got Served came out, everybody was trying to trying to emulate that. You know what I mean? So for me, I credited someone like Emil because he kind of lays the groundwork for what we then build on. Later on in the industry, and then you get your Prophets of the City as well, and the Brasafani Cup and Godessa. Shout out to Godessa, also the first female hip hop group in history. To my knowledge, first South African hip hop crew that existed ever, and could still be the only one of a full female band.
We keep breaking ground, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if you look at that, like. That is let's say our earliest years of exposure to the hip hop culture in Cape Town specifically, and coming from the people of color. So I think it starts with also that, even though we didn't maybe hear it on the radio every day or watch it on TV every day, that was direct eyesight. Oh wow, this is happening in front of me in real time right now. So I have to credit that as being also one of the factors that inspire us all.
And it even goes back to like just seeing it.
Seeing graffiti being done, live graffiti being done, seeing records being played, vinyls, and seeing the scratching taking place, seeing b-boys. You know,
I mean, recognizing that like Hildewood gives that space for art for graffiti to be recognized as art.
Yes,
and it's like
one of my
this culture
big
is
passions in life. You know, so yes, it starts there, and then. My mother obviously. This is now the home base, you know, the home structure, and you know, of course, she was involved in the modeling industry. She opens my eyes up now to this as well, which is the stage and the lights and the audience and so forth. So she put me on stage at a very young age, just in a scene for the fashion show. Yeah, and I kind of. I suppose overcame the stage fright in those years of life. I guess I'm thinking of it now.
I mean, you're freestyling on stage. That's not.
I'm making it up, literally on the stage, and using even things in the audience, you know, to make it more like challenging.
Yeah,
if you will.
I've seen it. Like you.
I did it at Mick Mill's concert.
Yeah,
I did it at Mick Mill's concert.
I was holding I think a Ashma pump.
And that's the thing. I always look for the most like random objects. It has to be something also humorous that people can also like laugh at, you know, and that's how you get them off their guard.
That was like a highlight of the night.
And you use that moment to get them on your side to win the crowd.
And that was in Josie.
That was in Joburg. I was living out there at the time. I was living in Joburg at that time.
Like you. I mean, I remember you performed West Cup and like the Josie crowd. Nah, this is we India.
Yes.
It's crazy. I know we're gonna do
I'm keeping it at the top of my head as well. You let me know when you're ready to dive into that one.
I think I want to go into. So you were on stage. You got that exposure on stage.
Yes, at a very small age.
And your confidence, I think, from that may have been developed. It's fierce. It's like because, like we spoke about, like holding the
confidence was stored. Remember that, because like I said, only the trophies and awards that school kind of presented you with made you a popular person among the peers that you had. You know, so if your friends
Yeah.
knew that you could play rugby kwai, and then when it was time to play a rugby game, everybody would want you on the team. That made you feel a certain way, obviously. You
True.
know, so I didn't
You
have
own
that.
something. You're part of
You were
something.
part of something, and you were important at it. You know, you were special at it.
You are a vital
You
cog
were,
to
you were a
something.
valued part
Yeah.
of that team. Without you, the team might lose. I'm putting it that way, you know. So I didn't feel that until rapping. So yes, the confidence was there, but it was always stored. I always kept it.
But I mean, it has
Internal.
to be that high. You're putting your soul out there. Like, how do you? Inevitably, people are gonna criticize. Like, even if it can be family, friends, it can be crowd. Like, what is your? Do you have a coping mechanism that, or something that you maybe remember in those moments where, like, I'll give you an example. Like with myself with music, I think my biggest holdback was like I was too scared to put music out. Yeah, you are 50 billion. Like,
I mean, not
what's
all
the
of the
actual
songs are
number?
good either,
What's
we
the
don't-
what's the official mixtape number? Like,
Currently, I'm on 35.
is it 35?
No,
I think it's
way more
it's
than
way
that.
more than 35.
I have just given the official number 35, yeah. But if you add up everything, it goes way over the 40. It's probably touching 50.
But I mean, you've been putting it out like all the time, and like,
yeah.
I guess it ties into your confidence to be willing to just.
Well,
go
just
out there,
imagine
like-
you realize that you could do something before anyone else could, and then you only got to do it maybe 20 years later. Wouldn't you have a lot to say also?
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, that's it. I knew early, but I was probably in the gymnasium practicing it more than I was on the field actually doing it. So once I was able to be put into the game and really now show and prove, that's why the volume was so big of the music, the quantity, the mass that I released was a large scale because I'd been waiting a long time to do it.
Is there do you have someone you bounce off of in, I guess, before you put something out? Like beyond the whole process of getting something released?
In the early years, I wasn't fortunate enough because I don't think hip-hop was that popular, the culture of it necessarily. I think people enjoyed like observing it and watching it and just being a spectator. But I don't think anybody actually wanted to, as you say, put music out. You know, we had a bit of self-consciousness when it came to that. So in the early years, I mean, my older brother was a big hip-hop fan, still is. And he would kind of like give me little critiques of my stuff.
That's like a trusted person, like your
friends at school that I knew were into hip-hop like I was. Them, but for the most part, it was really just a solo project I was working on my entire life.
The whole,
just in my bedroom, just in a bedroom by myself. People knew, but only those that were very, very near and dear to me knew. And I would also like first wait until I get to know you long enough to find out if you thought this thing was corny. If you thought this was cheesy, then I was never ever gonna tell you I wanted to do it.
And I mean, your brother, like that relationship. It's like that's the person who's going to speak. Like he's gonna criticize you to your face, but speak positively behind your back. Like, those like
for sure.
Family does that.
Yeah, the feedback I needed from somebody also a bit older than myself. So when I did it for older people and they would like be impressed, I knew that I was good at it because I thought, you see, you guys have seen a lot already. You know, you've seen people come and go. So you wouldn't necessarily like give me props for something if I was bad at it. You wouldn't do it just because I'm, you know, Rafi's son or whatever the case may be. You know, you're going to tell me honestly, like, he's not really that good. Or, hey, my man, maybe you should pick up a sport or something. You know? Pick up a paintbrush, my man.
Like, and I mean, that gives you the confidence to, like, you have a core base of people you can, like, rely on for feedback. Those connections are vital. Even like the friends, they're vital to, I guess, the art space you'll find yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, I've got another question afterwards, but bad advice. I can see we're gonna talk.
I know what it is. I also understand. I have a lot of layers that one has to uncover. It's like a trifle here, you know, and you really have to get through it
almost that time.
piece by piece. Yeah, I know. So I don't blame you. So
Ballad for Shaki. Tell me about that song.
Funny story. A Ballad for Shaki. was recorded in 2017.
Came out in 2024.
It only came out in 2024. So I'll put it to you this way: the vault of music that I have. I mean, you can imagine
So
what
was
you've
it like
heard.
Kaapstad's Revenge
My
that
man,
time. Like you.
people have heard the tip of the iceberg, and I'm proud of it because not everything. Look, as I said, not all the songs are good. I'm not gonna sit there and make it seem like this.
That's
I made 24 mixtapes and every song was a banger. You know, these were also learning curves in my life of how to construct songs as well. So a ballad for Shaki was produced by J Beats. Shout out to J Beats. A very big collaborator of mine since 2012.
Sure.
And yeah. From more than 10 years, me and he's making songs. And if you,
there's actually so many of those.
I was about to say,
like,
if you look at the songs that we've made, actually, it's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
So a lot of people's favorite songs have been made by the same guy. So shout out to J Beats, Salutas, Hela, which is on 21 years ahead of time. For colored girls, Young Van Riebeek,
the biggest,
Yati,
all of the
Here We Go Boss, that whole Kaapstad's Revenge EP is him. So
Kaapstad's Revenge
definitely somebody that I gel well with in terms of the creativity. And that song
does he bring that introspection out of you?
Look, I think when you meet people that are like-minded and have similar interests and have similar have a similar history in terms of what they grew up listening to, what they enjoyed and what they were influenced by, when you meet them, you'll realize it immediately, which is why I'm still collaborating with him to this day. He's even on 32 years ahead of time. He's on 31 as well. He's on 33 as well. He's on all three. Okay, he's everywhere. But literally, this man has crafted some of the best music and best sonics for me to tell my stories on. Takes direction well, and also...
does he usually start out with... Does he give you drums or chords first? Where are you?
He gives me the whole beat.
He gives you you go straight. Okay.
I'll give him a suggestion or a reference.
Like your mood.
Yeah, the mood, And then he also goes and listens to what I've made. And then he comes back with something like, I heard you on this now, or hey, I see you doing this. What do you think about, my take on it?
But I mean, that track must have taken you like a while.
Which one is this?
The Ballad for Shaki.
Ballad for Shaki, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's way easier for me to write about personal experience than it is for me to write about everyone else's.
Okay.
Because I don't know what you've been through.
Yeah.
I don't know what he feels. I don't know what she feels. I don't know what you feel.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing. I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. I'm keeping my fingers crossed while I'm writing songs.
Yeah.
That somebody out there has felt this way or has been through this also. So I'm really always shooting the dog, which is why I make so many songs. Because one of them you must have been through one of these feelings that I've made.
At some point you were
At
going
some
boss.
point you felt this way. So yeah, the Ballad for Shaki was made quite some time ago, and it was supposed to be for 3T as well. That's why I kept my grandfather in it because that was.
I mean, like to choose. That's an incredible intro. By the way, but I mean, to choose which intro to go, I can understand.
Yeah. So
because Ballad for Shaki is an intro.
Another a nugget about that song, J Beats named it. He sent me the beat, and it was called a Ballad for Joe, which I'm not sure who it was for him. It could have been maybe one of his family members or somebody close to him. And then I just changed it to a Ballad for Shaki.
Tell me about Shaki.
That's my mother's father. So the crazy thing is when I speak about my mother so highly, imagine how I feel about that man. Basically I would say played the father figure in my life for the early years, and I think many of us feel that way about our grandparents. Playing key roles in our life when our parents maybe, had their own things going on because they were raising us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for grandparents, it's a bit easier for them to play the good cop because they just, they're coming in for the assist.
Yeah, but I mean, like the softest stuff.
There we go. There we go. The gentle, the care. and that kind of encouragement also that maybe you don't get from the strict rules of your parents in the house. So my grandfather were constantly telling stories which we all can relate to because all our grandparents are the same, and I think all they have left are those stories, which is something that we must also treat with a lot of care and consideration, because in our minds we're scared to even walk into the District 6 Museum or to the Simonstown Museum and just read what happened. Now, they lived it. So that's something that it goes beyond our comprehension. Man. You know, we didn't live in a time like that. So all we can do is sympathize with them, kind of, and listen. That's very important. Listen to them. Who else do they have to talk to? Did they have therapists? Did they have a school that encouraged free thinking?
Yes.
Did they have a time where they could go have
like mental health was like
mental health discussions and go to a psychiatrist? No, they didn't. All they had was their children and their children's children to kind of offload on.
I mean, that's what they know. Also, like, it's very difficult to expect people who've also gone through this, like, a period of time. This is the only way we were able to deal. And now you are telling them at the age of 82, you should probably see a therapist or something. It's like,
that's why I said, like, I'd been wanting to rap for 20 years. Imagine what somebody from that time can share with us. Imagine what they want to tell us. Sure. Imagine I gave my grandpa a mic and a beat. I'm just making an example, man. What would that song sound like? What would your grandparents' song sound like? What would your grandparents' song sound like? So it's like a window into a completely different world, man. And I was always fascinated by it.
It's just a different life experience.
Completely.
The ballad from that.
Hey, my man. And the thing about me is I love it. I love it because I enjoy, how you say, you know, novels and I use my imagination a lot because, you know, obviously making music, writing music.
At the same time, though, your grandparents' place, there's I feel like I remember my grandmother being like, "No, Sadiq he's a great boy. He's a good boy." Like that consistent, like, complimentary, like, just seeing
they build you up.
The best in you. Not that my parents weren't that. Like, not that they didn't build me up, but it's much softer.
But their job is also to raise you, educate you, to bring you up as a decent human being, whereas your grandparents are there to catch you if something were to happen, if a calamity were to occur.
I mean, like, that soft touch is vital.
100%.
I became a dad like 2 weeks ago.
No, it's not.
But, like, do you think that is I guess for those who don't have access to it, how do we share that experience to others?
Which we speaking about, like, what our elders went through.
Our elders went, but what our elders gave us in love. Like, it's not I'd be crazy to say, like, everyone had. That.
Yes. No. Like, we are the fortunate ones. We are the fortunate ones. Everyone told me that also when they heard the album and saw the cover and the music videos and stuff. Everybody said, like, "Yo, it's so honorable of you to pay tribute
for sure
to your grandparent. You know, that's still alive also, because many people have lost their grandparents as well.
For sure.
So I think that's also why I did it. That's why I did it. You know, I wanted to pay homage to a person that really guided me, gave me the game, if you will, and secrets to survival. You know, how to conduct yourself as a man, as a human being, a religion, to seeing him in the mosque every Friday.
You've got tools.
There we go. There we go.
Just pay it forward to others.
The fundamentals, and then you look at yourself, who you became as an adult, and then you think, did I make the best of it, you know, of what was given to me? So when I decided to make an album, it was always called 3T. If you look at my 2012 mixtape called Freeze Time, I spelled freeze F-R-E 3.
Was that
Z-E
going to be 3?
time.
Like,
Yes,
you were
that
always
was
going to do
yes,
3T.
Yes. So I had come up with that concept, years before it came out. And the cover of that album is me in a frozen clock. And it's my face in a frozen clock. And then if you look at the album of Sharky, it's his face in a
22 years
grandfather
old.
clock. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like Salvador Dali, like the
I
melting.
guess. Yeah,
balls.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, that's what I got from that cover. I was
So
like,
it's also
okay,
a time lapse, you know,
Oh.
and also explaining the similarities in the story. And if you look at songs that were on 3T, they almost mirrored songs that were on the mixtapes. Certain songs from the mixtape days. Salutas was taken from Salute, yeah.
Salutas changed.
The Cape of Good Hope was taken from West Cape. Go Boss and Just Be Liquor. It's basically you know what I mean? So they were all continuations from mixtape songs I had made. And then, you know, these are things people don't really want to.
I mean, you were like knocking at the door with like, I'm here. I'm
themes,
here. Like,
you know, I enjoy themes. Like I said, I like novels, I like stories, I like film, I like how you can convey messages through music using the imagination.
I definitely think there's a massive shift between 31 and 32. Like,
indeed.
There's
indeed.
Like if I'm like, okay, what happened from here to there? And it came out in the same year, but like
same time frame, but also made. I mean, you can hear when I tell you
intentionality is like different between.
Yeah, 100%. You can hear if I speak about the ballad for Shaka, I tell you it's made in 2017. You know, so time for me is a big factor in my life. It's the only thing we don't have.
Yeah,
we're not sure of. It's the most valuable commodity. Even right now, the time that we take here, we don't get back. Sure. You know, I can't give anybody's time back.
Look, and I hope it like indirectly. The goal with this is to like indirectly impact as many people as possible.
Yeah, whoever can get something from it, even if it's one person, that's enough. Sure. That's enough. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of inspire someone or many people to follow their interests and their passions and whatever wakes them up in the morning. But to just to end off on my grandfather, like, I don't think I'd be the man I am if it wasn't for him. So I owed him in my mind. I owed him. I was like, I know you don't know it, but I owe you something, you know. I mean, my mother, I'm still going to constantly try and repay for the rest of my life. But my grandfather, I thought if there was something I could give you, and this is my grandfather's watch, if there was something I could give you, this is the best I can do for now.
Like just pay it forward.
Yeah, to say shukran. You know, this is the best I can do.